Alright, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of The Roaring Lion Lives On. That's the name I'm going with for this series. Our 4-year, maybe more, run with BCG that we have. And we are here not for the Maeda Grand Prix, instead for Time Battle. I toyed with the idea that we wouldn't do the Grand Prix right now because of the storylines I had going on. And it was right after the Tag Mania Grand Prix. So yeah, we're here for Time Battle. It will be next month. The Grand Prix will be next month. I have that set up already. It'll be a 10-day Grand Prix plus playoffs and the pay-per-view, so 12 days in total, actually. And yeah, so we're going with Time Battle for this month. In the news, we have the first thing I put is I was thinking, and I might still do this. I'm thinking about bringing in a couple of outside names for the Grand Prix, just to add some flavor. I thought about bringing in some guys from Pride and Exodus or SciShow, just like one from each company to give it a little more like, ooh, who the fuck's gonna win this kind of thing. My only issue is that most of the companies, I'd have to pick people that aren't loyal, or like, so if I pick Pride, I'd have to fuck with the days so much, because two Japanese companies that are touring at the same time, they're gonna pick Pride over us. And if I pick a company like Exodus 2010, I gotta pick somebody who doesn't have loyalty to them, and all their best guys have loyalty. Same thing goes with, there aren't not really many good guys in SciShow, if we're gonna be honest. Same thing goes with WLW. I think they'll actually pick WLW over me. WLW is a bigger company. So, it's possible I bring in a name or two, but it'd be like a gaijin or someone unemployed. And then it's like, at that point, what are we doing? So, most likely not, but yeah, it could happen. Tana the Mighty left TCW, and he's active in Japan. I want to sign him really, really fucking bad, but he's pretty expensive. I just think it'd be really funny to have Tana the Mighty in Black Canvas Grappling. On night 1 of the tour, Tornado Nagai tried to big league fucking Razan Okamoto. That shit pissed me off. He's like, why am I losing? You're fucking facing Razan Okamoto. Go fuck yourself. This has been... Dude, Maeda is probably the greatest mentor you can have in this game. He keeps fucking giving his two trainees psychology. Through the whole month of March, they went from 59 to 63. Now he's already up to 64. And then for Koyo, he started at 43. He's at 47 now. He's incredible. He's great. Dynamite Narahashi broke his fucking ribs, and he was supposed to challenge for the Challenger Series title. So I'll do what I did on the last tour show, and actually I'll do it a little differently. Instead of trying to fucking explain it as I'm going through the rundown, I'll run down the whole tour show, and then once I'm done running it down, I'll explain what the original plan was. 5-Star Supreme Wrestling grew too small, so that might actually affect our, if they want to upgrade their production, that could fuck us really badly, because that will actually make us upgrade our production. Shangen Miyazaki is really getting on my fucking nerves, this guy. He's still fucking mad about that one match he lost to. Also, I don't know why everyone hates Razan Okamoto, but fucking, dude, he's still mad about it. And then once the new month came over, he fucking went from has morale issues to has big morale issues. Like, get over yourself. Jesus Christ. This is why you don't sign fuckfaces from Golden Canvas. And then the last thing that happened is Marvel Malloy hurt himself and pissed off Funakoshi. So that's just fucking great. It's just I love that injuries happen every 2 fucking shows in Japan. That's my biggest concern about doing every Grand Prix, is that I have yet, in this save or the offline save, I have yet to do one fucking Grand Prix where somebody doesn't get injured and I have to rework the whole fucking thing midway through. So fucking annoying. Alright, let's do our tour wrap up or showcase or something. So, as you remember, we ended Fighting Spirit with both Razan Okamoto and Funakoshi having a case to challenge for the world title. Not Funakoshi, sorry, Furusawa. Whereas Razan, he just defeated Funakoshi in the 6-man. He pinned Funakoshi to end that pay-per-view. And then Furusawa, Showtime, he went to a 30-minute time limit draw in his last world title defense. So both men were kind of staring each other down, and then shit went off the rails when Giant Brody lost his fucking mind and beat the crap out of Tanya Toshusai. So we open the first horse show with Razan Okamoto defeating the problem child Tornado Nagai. And he afterwards cuts a promo where he's like, I can't wait to talk to you, Furusawa. If you think you deserve this title shot more than me, I actually pinned Funakoshi. Your whole case is that you didn't pin him. So then we had, I fucked up this angle. This was supposed to go on later, but it really doesn't matter. Giant Brody beats Quick Kick Nakao. Young Boy match. So Furusawa and Washi Tanaka defeat some young boys, and then after the match, Washi, he cuts this promo. He tries to move past Suguru Imoto and the next, but Suguru Imoto, he isn't quite over Washi Tanaka, and Washi kind of blows him off. He cuts a promo like, time to take the next step, I'm still undefeated, blah blah blah. Imoto's like, I'm not done with you, and Washi just kind of blows him off. We then have Naozen Goto and the Wild Ones defeating the next, but after the match, the Wild Ones, they attempt to cut a promo to make a claim for why they should be the number one contenders for the tag belts, but then they are jumped by the American Cobras. And I don't think I ever put this in a promo, but the reason the Cobras jumped the Wild Ones, we'll say it happened on a press conference, they explained. Like, they've just watched the Wild Ones lose at the pay-per-view while they won. Like, the Wild Ones, yeah, they win more than they lose, but, like, we just beat the Spine Breakers. Why the fuck are they? Who the hell are they? So we had to intervene to make sure they don't fucking get bullshit. And then in our main event, our new tag team champions have a little sparring match against some of their friends. Intensity, Showtime, and Shingen have kind of had like an unofficial partnership. I team them up on tour shows a lot. But after the match, Showtime and Razan, they agree to a number one contenders match to main event time battle. Whoever wins this match will not be put in the Maeda Grand Prix because they will be facing Funakoshi for the world title at the Grand Prix Finals. And Tour Show Day 2, we open with Washi Tanaka defeating Roku Satomura, and Washi gave himself a few days to think about Suguru Imoto's challenge. Suguru said he wasn't done with him, but Washi says, Suguru, I am done with you, and I'm ready to take my next step, and I want the Challenger Series Championship. So then, Giant Brody defeats a Young Lion, and after the match, Giant Brody is then ambushed by Funakoshi, who is still pissed that Giant Brody bloodied, and maybe he bloodied him, he beat him up at the end of the last pay-per-view. He beat up the guy that Funakoshi has publicly put his name on. He has kind of like taken him under his wing, and he is standing up for his boy as he will take on Giant Brody at the pay-per-view. Challenges him to a match. So then we have the next defeating some Young Lions, and after the match, Raw Power actually talked to Suguru Imoto, and they're like, dude, you need to move on from Washi. We lost. It was embarrassing, yes. But the only way we're ever going to move up is if we keep moving forward. And Suguru just fucking ignores them. Now Zangoto and Silent Killers defeat Sofu and the Dependables. That was just a thrown together match. Suki and Blasticoma of M3 defeat Intensity. And then after the match, Suki accepts Washi's challenge. He says he looks forward to handing him his first L in Black Canvas Grappling. Now this match is not happening at the pay-per-view. It's happening on the next tour show. Or maybe it's happening on this one after that. I think it's happening on the next one. We're going to find out. I can't quite remember. And then our main event, Explosive Weaponry, lose to Team Taku after the young Taku, Yoshinaka, pulls a fast one on Bunraku and Tori and rolls him up, and Tori is furious after the loss. Yes, okay, so the Challenger Series was next. So we open the next show with the Challenger Series Championship match, Suki versus Washi Tanaka. And Washi Tanaka, he's undefeated. He looks to have the upper hand this whole match. But Suguru Emoto runs in mid-match, costs Tanaka the match, and hands him his first loss in BCG on a random tour show. Very, very humiliating for Washi Tanaka. And this was also done. I saved this for a tour show because I wanted to see how big of a penalty outside interference finishes would have for BCG, and that's a pretty big fucking penalty considering that Suki and Washi had 65 and 56, and this match probably would have gotten a 70, but or at least a high 60. So yeah, probably not going to be doing that anymore unless it's on tour shows. So yeah, we then have the American Cobras defeating some Young Lions, and then after the match, the Wild Ones then jump the Cobras to get some revenge for the Cobras jumping them. Shiraku Okimasa pins one half of Raw Power, Ichiro Mitsukuri, and Raw Power, they're not involving themselves with Washi and Suguru at all, as they focus their attack on Shiraku Okimasa for beating them. They then beat the piss out of Poor Shark. We then have Explosive Weaponry defeating the Spinebreakers, and right after the match, Bunraku Kantori cuts a quick promo sending a warning to the Young Taku, like, you're in the main event, I'd watch your back. Clearly the Young Taku didn't hear them. After Urugataya and the tag champs defeat Razan and Team Taku, Bunraku Kantori beats the shit out of the Young Taku, and with his foot on his neck, Bunraku Kantori challenges him to a match at the pay-per-view to show the whole world that Young Taku is not up to snuff. So we open tour day 4 with the Dependables defeating the Silent Killers, and the Dependables challenge Raw Power to a match at the pay-per-view to try and get some revenge for Raw Power beating the piss out of poor Shiraku. The next defeats some Young Lions, and then Washi, on the heels of his first ever loss in Black Canvas Grappling, he caves, he's furious, he gives Emoto what he wants, a match at the pay-per-view. The two never had an actual singles match, so this will be the singles match that they should have had during the last feud, but Washi warns Emoto, like, you're not gonna get what you fucking think you're gonna get. So Suki then defeats a Young Lion, and then after the match, Dynamite Narahashi and Quick Kick Nakao, they both want the Challenger Series Championship. They both say they've been winning their matches lately. They want a shot at the title, and the two agree to have a number one contenders match to open the next tour show. But specifically Dynamite Narahashi, he pisses off Suki a little extra somehow. I don't know what he says. He just kind of does a personal dig or something, and you can tell it doesn't sit right with Suki. After that, the Spinebreakers and the Wild Ones defeat Intensity and the American Cobras, and the Wild Ones and the Cobras just continue to brawl. After the match, they brawl to the back. And then we ended tonight's show with Giant Brody and Bunraku Kantori defeating Young Taku and Funakoshi. Tori getting the pin on Young Taku, but Giant Brody looking stronger than ever going into this match here at Time Battle. Night 5, we open the show. Quick Kick Nakao makes his entrance. He's all ready to get this number one contenders match, but then we see Dynamite Narahashi he gets thrown out from the back, and right behind him are M3, who beat the shit out of him, and they break his ribs in kayfabe. He had already broken his ribs. I believe in this match he broke his ribs. So M3 kayfabe break Dynamite's ribs, and Quick Kick Nakao then gets the title match by default. And so then this right here, Masashi Urugataya and Toshinobu Taku, was our standby match. I guess in BCG canon, everything has a standby match in case something like that happens. Doesn't happen often or ever, but it happened this time. So yes, Quick Kick Nakao will sneak into that Challenger Series Championship. And yeah, so he eventually finds himself a match against a Young Lion, and then Blast Radius had beat a Young Lion. Later on in the show, Giant Brody and the American Cobras defeat Naoya and Goto and the Wild Ones. So after just shows of just brawling, the Wild Ones and the American Cobras finally agree to have a rubber match at the pay-per-view. Cobras now have a win over the Wild Ones. I think the Wild Ones have one win over the Cobras. And Giant Brody is still undefeated on this tour. Still just making him look stronger than ever. And then in our main event, we have Razan Okamoto, Yoshi Nakataku, and Funakoshi defeating Tori and the tag champs. And then just a little, scuffle after the bell to keep hyping up their respective matches. And then on the final tour show, we have Dynamite Narahashi. He introduces M3. So the way I imagine this going was Blast Radius were in the ring, and no one really knows why. I know all of M3 were in the ring. That's right. Sorry. It's happened. I booked this yesterday. I need to remember. So all of M3 were in the ring. They had all they were advertised was for a trios match, and they didn't really know why. And the reason is we found out Dynamite Narahashi, he comes out, he's like, yeah, you guys broke my fucking ribs. I can't wrestle for the next month or so. So what I've done is I found Blast Radius some opponents for the pay-per-view, and I don't think you're going to like them because you guys don't know this, but these guys have had my back backstage. We haven't really seen it on screen, but they've had my back. So, Blast Radius, you're going to be taking on the former tag champs, Miura and Yoshizawa, my boys, at the pay-per-view. And then Quick Kick Nakao comes out to join Miura and Yoshizawa. And then the challenger and the former tag champs, they get the victory over M3. M3 don't lose very often, but right here they did lose to try to give some credibility to their opponents because M3 are the favorites to win this. They're all stars, and the former tag champs, it's just easier to say that than Miura and Yoshizawa. Some fucking Dynamite's boys, I'll call them Dynamite's boys. Dynamite's boys are well-known, and Quick and Cows are recognizable, so to give them some credibility, I wanted to give them a win tonight. We had Shinga Miyazaki defeating Naozen Goto. That one was just kind of thrown together. I think I realized midway through the tour Miyazaki doesn't have a match at the pay-per-view, and I'm like, you know what, good for him. He's being a prick, but I still wanted to use him, so he beat Goto here. Washi Tanaka and the Dependables defeat the Next in a trios match. And then in the main event, Funakoshi and the Wild Ones defeat Giant Brody and the American Cobras. Giant Brody taking his first loss of the tour tonight, and he once again loses his shit, tears up the arena as we end the final tour show before the pay-per-view. So, full match card, I'll do it in order of how it's going to be on the card. So we're going to open the show with the only championship match on the pay-per-view. Once Dynamite went injured, I considered just fucking scrapping this match, and then it's like, well, I can't because I don't have another title match. I feel like I need at least one title match every pay-per-view. So yeah, Quick Kick Nakao will challenge for the Challenger Series Championship. Match number 2 will be Raw Power versus the Dependables. Match 3 will be Suguru Moto versus Washi Tanaka. Match 4 will be the American Cobras versus the Wild Ones. Match 5 is Dynamite's boys, Miura and Yoshizawa versus M3's Blast Radius. Match 6 is Funakoshi versus Giant Brody. I almost had this be the semi-main, but I just don't trust, it's not that I don't trust Giant Brody, it's I don't trust Funakoshi as much as I trust Bunraku Tori to carry Young Taku as much as I trust Funakoshi to carry Giant Brody. So yeah, that's going to happen match 6. Then semi-main, Yoshi Nakataku versus Bunraku Tori. And then in our main event, winner faces Funakoshi in the main event of the Grand Prix Finals, Razan Okamoto versus Mabuchi Furusawa. And then without any further ado, oh, that's right, oh my god, I almost forgot. Okay, so what was supposed to happen with Dynamite Narahashi, it was just supposed to be as simple as the promo that Dynamite cuts. Quick Kick Nakao was originally not involved at all. Dynamite was going to just make the challenge. It was going to get accepted, but M3 were going to jump them as punishment. They were going to jump Dynamite Narahashi as punishment. He wasn't going to get injured, and then Dynamite would come out like, these are my fucking guys. They got my back. They're going to take on your guys. But yeah, once, like, Dynamite, he can work. That's the thing. Dynamite can work. But, like, fucking broken ribs. And then Marvel fucking chronic upper back pain for 2 fucking months that he can work through. Like, fuck, dude. Ugh. It's like I have people on reserve So I subbed out Dynamite since I had time to do it. Marvel Malloy, though, he's gonna... I really wanted to put the Cobras in the Grand Prix, but it looks like Marvel's gonna miss out on it, which is a shame, but... You know, what can you fucking do? Black Canvas Grappling, home of the injuries. Yeah, so I had Nakao on reserve, and it was too late for me, because the Marvel Malloy, he fucking injured his back on the very last show, so it was kind of too late to replace him, and since he's fucking working through it, he'll work this match. He might work the next 2 pay-per-views. I have him scheduled. I don't have him scheduled, but I'll put him in. I just don't want him overworking once they're injured. But yeah, let's get into the show. So we open the show. Suki retains his championship against Quick Kick Nakao. The match gets a 66, and already, sorry, I have to open up my notepad. Already, Suki with a 75. One of these weeks, one of these shows, he is going to get a fucking, a post-show award, because he is so fucking good. And I didn't get to use him. I don't know if I mentioned this in the offline save, but, a month and a half in to the save, Suki fucking herniates his disc and he's out for a year. So, I haven't gotten to use him in that save, and I'm really happy he isn't fucking injured in this one. But yeah, the match goes 20 minutes. Suki hits the Mountain Suki, makes defense number 3 of the Challenger Series Championship. And yeah, segment gets a 66. Next up, Raw Power. They get the victory over the Dependables. The Dependables are kind of getting older, so I want to slowly transition them out. And I thought, what better than to give the pop to two guys that I'm kind of like. They're not the greatest yet, but I'm confident they'll get there. And so yeah, I might start transitioning Pop over to Raw Power while I can. As in 11-14, Ichiro pins Yori with a power plant. Yes, 49 for that match. And then after the match, Washi Tanaka and Suguru Imoto, they have pretty good chemistry, but Suguru should have listened to Washi Tanaka because the match was not at all what he was hoping for, as Tanaka pins Suguru Imoto with a Washi explosion after 14:35. Just after everything Suguru went through, he takes the loss anyway, proving that you don't fuck with Washi Tanaka. 53 for that match. Following that, we have a 63, despite the fact that Marvel Malloy has chronic back pain. The match gets a 63. Big Bruiser Finley carried the match. Thank you. Match goes 19:46. Finley pins Marvel Malloy with the trash compaction. And yeah, the Wild Ones, will they now have a stake for the tag team championships? As the whole point of the Cobras being mad was that they won and the Wild Ones lost. So now that the Wild Ones have won, do they have a stake? Do they have a claim to challenge for those tag titles? 63 for that match. Next match, Miura and Yoshizawa versus Blast Radius gets a 70. Fuck yeah, it does, because the tag division's booming. And to probably a couple people surprised, the former tag champs, Dynamite Narahashi's boys, they get the victory in 20 minutes and 19 seconds when Inajiro pins Rokumon with the End of the World. Miura and Yoshizawa, I think I said this in the first or the episode 0, I'm really high on these two as a tag team. I really like what they do, so I want to give them credibility. I don't want them to lose often on pay-per-view. So, gotta give them credibility somehow, and I think giving Blast Radius their first pay-per-view loss of the save, it won't hurt them too much, and it'll help Miura and Yoshizawa a lot. And the match, that gets a fucking 70. That is nice to see. Following that match, we have a 73. Funakoshi, he is him. As Funakoshi, he gets his revenge for his young lion. Or not his young lion, he's not a young lion. He gets his revenge for his protege, Tanyu Toshusai, as he pins Giant Brody in 20 minutes and 22 seconds with the butterfly backbreaker. But after the match, Giant Brody, once he gets his senses, he is fucking pissed once again. Funakoshi's probably celebrating with his world title standing on the second rope, and Giant Brody yanks him off. He begins to beat him down. But we have the return of Tanyu Toshusai. He has been out for this entire tour show. I don't think I ever explicitly said it. I forgot what Funakoshi got. I think he had a 73, so he did worse than Suki. But, yeah, he's been out for this entire tour show. He wasn't injured. It was a kayfabe thing. He can miss a tour show, and he comes back, and he thwarts off the giant Brody, and he helps his mentor up, and then TEW Sai announces that while the blocks for the Grand Prix have not been announced, he wants to let Brody know that on night 1, he will face him in the fucking, what's it called, the divisional series? No, the group stage. On night 1 of the group stage, we will see Giant Brody versus TEW Sai in the Yoshifusa Maeda Grand Prix. 59 for that angle. Semi-main Yoshi Nakataku versus Bunraku Tori. And this is what I'm fucking talking about. Tori is fucking him. Tori within 85. 85. I know a lot of people, I've seen it on the forums and people I've talked to. Funakoshi does great for them in the offline save, and so far in this one, he's doing great. Like, don't get me wrong, he is great, but he's not, like, upper echelon phenomenal, which I've been led to believe. Fucking Bunraku Tori is that guy. 85, 79 for the match, and he beats Yoshi Nakataku in 24-10, who actually, he got a 68 himself, so that's nothing to be fucking ashamed of. That's a good fucking performance, too. This was, I mean, obviously it was more Bunraku Tori, but this was a two-man effort to get this 79. And then after the match, Bunraku Tori, he says, he makes it official. Everyone kind of knew he was going to declare for the Grand Prix, but now he's officially stating that, yes, I will be in the Grand Prix, and I'm winning this fucking thing. I don't care who you throw at me. Young Taku, fucking Okamoto, Furusawa. If either one of them are in it, I don't know. Probably whoever loses is going to fucking join it. Fucking give me Tanyu, give me Brody. I'll fucking take out anybody. 69 for that. And then in our main event match, I think I had it go 26 minutes. Razan Okamoto versus Furusawa. It's a complete back and forth. Neither man want to give an inch. But then we start to realize, holy shit, we're getting close to the time limit expiring. But no time limit expiring. 80 rated match. Mabuchi Furusawa pulls out in the end, defeating Razan Okamoto. So Showtime gets an 84. And Razan fucks on Suki at the last possible moment. Suki does not get a post-show award this time. But Furusawa locks in the Furusawa armbar. Defeats Razan Okamoto in 26 minutes and 27 seconds. And the match gets an 80. What a fucking match by them. But after the bell, Funakoshi, he comes out. And he looks Furusawa right in his eyes. And he says, "We're not having another fucking draw." Before I came out here, I talked to Maeda. And I said, if Furusawa wins, we can't have a 30-minute time limit. So at the Grand Prix Finals, it will be me versus you in a 60-minute time limit match. And we're going to find out who truly is the better wrestler between me and you. And Furusawa says, I don't need the 60 minutes. I just need the 35 to show the world that Funakoshi ain't shit. Boom. Pre-booking. That's our first. I gotta fucking. Goddamn, there's a lot. Okay. So yeah, main eventing. Because I'm sorry, I know it's the Grand Prix Finals and all, but fuck me, dude. Mabuchi, Furusawa, and Funakoshi needs to main event the Grand Prix. Sorry. Boom. 60-minute time limit match. They say we are going to have a true winner this time. No more fucking time limit draws. They put the time limit so far ahead that the only reason the match is going to end is because we run out of showtime to work with. 72 rated match or angle, and then we finish the show with the 77. Fuck yeah. Bunraku Tori gets the gold medal this week or this month. Mabuchi Furusawa. No, you are not Mabuchi Furusawa. You are so unapologetically not Mabuchi Furusawa. I'm Mabuchi Furusawa. That's right. So I lied. Razan Okamoto does not fuck on Suki. Suki does get his award. Oh, he got one last month. Oh, he got one on Heritage. Dude, I'm stupid. I'm sorry. Suki gets another bronze medal. Dude, Suki's him. Suki is him. That's all I'm going to say. Funakoshi, Razan, and Suki. Seam Please was very happy, and Seam Please. Tori's getting props every fucking month, and he's never happy with me. So I guess I'll go fuck myself, Tori. I'm sorry. Alright. So yeah, I don't have the Grand Prix laid out yet. Although, obviously we know... Oh, no, I read that wrong. Sorry. Obviously we know night 1, we are going to have Giant Brody versus Tani Toshusai. Funakoshi and Tori officially declared for the Grand Prix, and we know Funakoshi and Furusawa will not be in the Grand Prix because they already have their match scheduled for the pay-per-view. But that does mean that Funakoshi and Tori was right, and Razan Okamoto will also be declaring for the Grand Prix. Those are the only people I can guarantee at this moment in time that will be in the Grand Prix. I was going to do more promos on the show of people declaring, and when I toyed with the idea of bringing in outside talent, I thought about signing 1 or 2 of them already, and then having them do an angle on the pay-per-view, but again, all the best people are just kind of locked up. Yeah, look, we don't know. We'll find out in the next episode who makes the Grand Prix. I'm not going to fuck on you this time. We are going to get the Grand Prix in the next episode. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you're all excited to see who comes out of the Maeda Grand Prix on top.